for Darryl. Darryl, what kind of money do you need to raise for this Lempro?
Well, the phase that Freddie's in right now is expansion. We took him to a pilot stage, so the next stage is building the first full-scale plants to be able to produce on a large amount. So the plants, the 2 plants he's building now has a $45 million raise on it.
Okay, so
but you don't have to take all $45 million at once.
No,
you can do it in phases.
Correct.
Okay, good.
Correct.
Just don't want to scare off any investors.
No. Okay, it's 45 total, but obviously you can package that down, right?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things we structured in the situation is we have a bond company that will issue the larger majority of the capital to the tune of $30 million. So of that 45, $30 million is already set aside. So if someone came in with $6 million, the bond company would release the $30 million.
Actually, even if you had somebody come in with $4 million,
correct.
So you have various. There are various opportunities here for investors, either larger ticket investors or smaller, meaning $4 million. That's quite small in tech, especially agri-tech. Okay, so I have a question, because I'm really a strategy person, and I'm like, okay, this is all great, and I think you guys are very interested, but let's hear some really, brass tacks here. Okay, what's your strategy? You're gonna get $45 million. Apparently BP has a plant that you're gonna buy. Doesn't need any cleaning up either, because it was a bioethanol plant. So what's the strategy? Get X amount of million, and then how are you gonna market this?
Well, actually, it's very easy because as a finance person, one of the things we have to make sure of when we put money out is that it's going to come back. So as we went out to look at the markets Freddie tapped into, there's a demand for feed. And the reason there's a demand is because of some of the issues that were mentioned about soy. What Freddie gave us that really captured us in the rest of the marketplace, it grows overnight. So in other companies that we invested in, if there's a freeze, if there's a storm, if something happens that destroys the crops, you lose 2 years. With Freddie's situation, if a storm or something wipes it out, 10 days later you're harvesting.
You're back in, oh wow, that's amazing. Okay, that's a huge sales point, is that this is an overnight thing and it's not going to disrupt any kind of sales cycle because it's going to be back on board in a day.
But talk about the farmers, because the part that I really liked about this, you want to talk about disruption. So, I don't know if you could tell, but I'm kind of an anti-Monsanto. Just a wee little bit from the woo-woo capital of the world, Marin County, California. So for me, what I really liked when I was talking about this with them was small independent farmers all over the world actually are going to be able to farm this stuff and literally every day go out and harvest, every day make money, every single day. Think about what that's going to do in impoverished countries. Think about what that could do globally. And with this process, think about how many people are going to be able to be fed. To me, the play is just, it's disruptive because you've got the entire humanitarian, you've got Viagra. It's going to be afraid because this is organic and natural and doesn't do anything.
It's not actually Viagra.
It's not Viagra, okay? Just think optimal health.
Just in case you're getting a little confused.
It just happens to increase everything awesomely. So, and I can market the heck out of that. Do you believe me? I can. So, but my point is, you've got all these different facets to it. You've got the commodities angle to it. You've got the licensing for protein powders, which is a huge beverage market. You've got the media market with all of the different ways you can talk about it. You've got the humanitarian effort, and you've got a way to then repurpose all of these unused factories that are just sitting dormant and idle, and it's real estate that could be very valuable, but is at the moment priced as scrap metal. So you take over something that's priced at scrap, you instantly put in a process that you already have, and boom, you increase valuation 10 times overnight. I mean, that's disruptive.
Very. I have a question for Freddie. I'm really interested in the moment. I don't know about you guys, I really love that moment when somebody gets an idea. So, Freddie, what was that moment like when you thought, oh my gosh, this is an idea? What were you doing?
Well, I've been looking at ethanol feedstocks all my life. I come from a family history of making ethanol. And so that's why I can do small-scale ethanol, which really, this is an ethanol process. But ethanol is a bad word. We try not to use it
this is different.
In Louisiana especially. And so, whenever it was possible to, most ethanol people concentrate on the ethanol, whereas the leftover thin stillage is a disposal problem. And so that's why ethanol has to make the money. But with this facility, the thin stillage left over is the protein wheel.
Right.
And then when you take that, and then...
Okay, but my question was, when was that moment where you had this idea? People love that. When was that the grain of the seed of that idea?
I guess when I was looking for a place to throw away the leftover water, and I put it back in the lagoon.
There we go.
And the duckweed grew twice as big overnight.
So it was an accident.
Okay, it was an accident.
Thank you. This is an accident, folks. It was a happy accident. That's what I was trying to get at. I didn't know that story, actually.
We find out that there's a growth hormone in our process called endothree acetic acid, a natural occurring growth hormone in all seeds. And the actual process produces it, so when you recycle that into your lagoon system for the duckweed doubles in size.
Okay, so you thought, wow, jackpot, when you saw that. Okay, that was a huge revelation. And that's how this started, as a seed. And that's how things always start, just an idea. So if you have an idea, it could become something big, but you have to get partnership, you have to get strategy. I'm going to go back to Darryl for a second, because I really am interested in hearing, what is your strategy? We never really got to that. We got trying to get funding, we got some great ideas from our colleague over here. But what is your strategy? I think people are really, I'm interested in strategy. What is the strategy? Present strategy. Great ideas. I don't want to hear what they're thinking of.
Well, what we're doing right now, after getting past the pilot stage and looking for expansion, you mentioned earlier about dormant plants. So we're seeking funding to go out and capture dormant plants, as well as just go out and expand more plants. We have orders coming in for as much as 25,000 tons a month of protein already.
Wow.
So the strategy is to be able to get the capital to build the facilities to fulfill those orders.
And then once you have the facilities, what's that marketing going to look like? Who are you going to market this to?
Well, again, the marketing part for us as a finance company, when we started looking out at this company, when you're dealing in a market where there's a shortage, it's not hard to cut into the market. The other side of it is the organic market is short. So there's a shortage there. And the largest part of it for us, when we look at, because what we have to do, and any company does when finding capital, we have to do what's called a risk assessment evaluation. So we look at all the different aspects of, can they do it, and what are the risks involved. So is the market out there? If you build this, is it going to sit on the shelf, or is it going to sell? So when we reached out...
So you ascertain that this is a winner.
Yeah, the market's astronomical. I mean, there's companies like Organic Valley Co-op, Modesto Milling, Purdue Feed, chicken companies. There's companies...
Of course,
yeah. There's large companies that have a large demand for quality feed.
So this is just really a matter of getting some extra funding and running with it. Okay, wow, what a success.
And for us, as we go out, it's one of those things that sounds too good to be true.
Right.
But it is true and it is good. And the best part about it is normally when somebody tells you something that sounds too good to be true, you usually have to go through a period of losing money to figure it out.
Right.
Well, in this process, it takes 24 hours for this crop to grow.
Right, that's amazing.
So I didn't have to wait for a year. When I went down to Freddie, I got to the site, saw the growing area, went back to my hotel room. When I came back the next morning, it was full.
Wow, so this is instant gratification investing. Okay, so I don't know how much time we have left, but how much do we have? 10? Okay, we're going to take some questions. Does anybody have a question?
Can I tell my aha moment?
Sorry? Oh, yeah, yes.
So, how many of you have a startup because you scratched your own itch? You saw a need in the market and said, I need that. I need this, and you looked and you looked and you looked and there was nobody doing it. And you're thinking, damn, I gotta do it. Because I need it, right? I mean, that is, for me, that's one of the most passionate plays is, not only do you need it, but a lot of people need it. And for me, I had a television show that I had created, and there was no way to get it on the air because nobody understood social. And so I had to create a platform in order to do it. And then when it comes to funding, everything is out of the box. Everything. Because the networks control all of the broadcasts. So you have to go outside the box to get back in on the top. So my aha moment, I installed WordPress December 6th. December 16th, we launched with the All I Want for Christmas is My Own TV Show campaign. And we funded our first show in 8 days. And our first show to go on the air went from idea to on national broadcast television in 4 months.
It's fantastic. Now, actually, no, it's true how I work. is always thinking outside the box. I analyze companies I work with, small, large, mid, whatever, and I always look at what other people are doing, and I say either you're going to have to do that a lot better, or you're going to have to find some other strategy that no one is doing. So you always, no matter whether you're in tech or not, you always have to think or try to think and get together with people that you can brainstorm with, or get a coach or mentor or somebody that's not in your own head, and start thinking outside the box. This goes for everyone. This goes for beauty businesses. This goes for people that are selling stuff. This is just an example of tech, but I know a lot of you people are not in tech, so if you can just take that away today, that you got to think outside the box, because going down that same road as everybody else and maybe not doing it as well as them, it's going to get you nowhere, unless you're doing it better. That's the other thing. That's the one qualifier. Okay, we have a question over here.
Hi, I was wondering if there's a way to quantify the health benefits of this and unlock some government money. I know there's other programs where there's, I don't know if it's tax incentives or there's some form of money if there's a national health benefit. Is there a way to tap into that?
I think that would be more for Darryl, yes?
Okay, so that's a great question. If I understood it right, you were saying what are the benefits and national health benefits to the product? Well, one of the things that we did earlier last year, I can't name the name of the foundation because it's whatever, but one of the situations we did when we partnered the foundation up with Mr. Hebert, we looked at all the health benefits of the product to see how it would, in fact, benefit globally, actually. We went up to Washington, D.C. and met with the Department of Agriculture to introduce this product to them. So it is on their table right now, and it is something that, I can't say this, but I can say this. We mentioned Monsanto's earlier. So when you're dealing with USDA, Monsanto's, all these different people out there, it's disruptive. But to answer your question, there is a global benefit because, you know, they talk about the population growing and we'll be at 9 billion and you can't grow chickens, pigs, and cows fast enough. So having a crop that can grow fast to offset the population growth is good. So the health benefits to it are there, and there is additional high-level grant money and funding available. So to expand, but there are some things that they have to have, like engineering and feasibility for the next stage of funding, which is what this stage that we're doing now will take care of. Did I answer your question?
I have a question actually. Do you foresee any blocking going on? You know, sometimes Monsanto will block. We all know that, hey? So
That's where public outrage comes in?
yeah, well, what's your strategy when that happens? Because I can't see that not happening.
Well, what we're doing is we're not running out to, one of the strategies in talking to Freddie is not to go out and beat our horn. But the companies that need the product, that's why we're not going directly to humans first and we're going to feed.
Right.
So the challenge is not directly in their face. By the time people realize what has transpired, you've got millions of tons being produced and it's out there, and it's the same product that's going in the cattle that's going into the humans with some different fillers and adjustments, and it's a different process being produced on stainless steel for humans as opposed to the other way. So it'll be out there large enough and private labeled large enough so that when you change it to branded, it's already out there.
Got it. And Jerry, you want to...
Yeah, one of the aspects that we had thought about that is the traditional oil business. They're probably not going to love us because there's ethanol is one of the products, but we're not ever going to be a threat to the oil business because just the volume of protein meal we would have to produce to compete on that side is way too much. But we do expect a little bit of political pushback from other interested parties. And one of the things that we're anticipating doing to get around that is as we expand in the early stage, we're not just going to look to expand in the U.S., we're going to purposely look to expand in other countries and other continents. And Darryl's made some pretty good connections in that regard already.
That's great already.
And lastly, one of the largest parts that you have to be able to do with any of your companies or startups, you have to be willing to give to get. So in looking for a foundation that shares a like vision of what you're producing, you've got to be willing. In Mr. Hebert's instance, he's actually actually giving away a portion of the product that he's making to charitable organizations.
Okay, and I just want to stop you there. That's very smart. That's actually a general business thing that I teach, is give, get. And I feel that people don't have that kind of moral or ethics, that they just want to take. So that's another thing I've found. Highly successful people do give, and then they eventually get something. And it's a different mindset. Because I feel a lot of business people operate on what can I get. Yes, there has to be something in it for you eventually, I guess. But that's smart, because that's going to work. Because giving does eventually get.
One of the things that I suggested, know your state. So I'm an ex-Californian from the Bay Area, and I expatriated to Nevada. Now, one of the great things about Nevada, if you haven't been there, is we have all-you-can-eat sushi, and it's like $14 for lunch and like $19 for dinner, all you can eat. I'm not even kidding. Come visit. So the reason is because the federal laws, somewhere in there, and I can't remember the exact statute, an airplane, a huge fully stocked cargo plane full of sushi will land on one of our runways, drop one pallet of sushi, take off, and the entire plane is tax-free. And then we have this other thing where if you manufacture or produce in Nevada and you export out of the country or whatever, it's export tax-free. It's federal tax-free. It's tax-free.
I'm moving to Nevada.
Right. So I'm trying to get them to move to Nevada, and that will be another fun one because Nevada has all these tax benefits. Then the governor of Louisiana, despite the fact that he's a Republican and you know the ethanol thing might be a problem, I'm politically neutral. I'm Switzerland. So they'll be talking back and forth, then it's like, oh, this is going to go to Nevada. Hey, wait, this could be a really big moneymaker. We want that for our state, and you're already here, so maybe, so you get governors talking to each other and you know, kind of pitting each other against each other, and you shop around. You do what Tesla did when Tesla moved to Nevada, is they shopped 5 states against each other, and they waited until they got the best offer, and unfortunately they gutted my film incentive to give to them, but they're there, and they moved to Reno, and you should move there too.
So that's another smart thing, is to think about the state you're in. We're running out of time. Does anybody have any more questions? Gentleman over here.
Thank you very much. Congratulations on creating a product that could potentially change the world. The question I had was, you said something about the farmers could take the feed and build it themselves, like grow it themselves. Areas like in the Caribbean and on the continent of Africa, where you're dealing with desertification and some of the land, what is the soil impact of your particular product if it's growing every single day?
Well, it's great if it's a rice field, so it holds water. But like in the desert, you have to put liners. So you can put cheap liners. But really, there is no impact because you recycle the daily nutrients back into the water. And so you provide the nutrients. You know, if nothing else, it improves the property. If you grow it in a rice field, for instance, you'll improve the quality of the soil in the rice field by growing the duckweed on it. You know, eventually, when you drain the water, you know, there's a nutrient balance in the water. So if you drain it into the dirt, you'll increase the.
There's no depletion. That's what's amazing.
Right.
That's what's fascinating me, is there's none. Jerry, you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not the crop that we prefer right now. I mean, Freddie's process will work with several, but the crop that we prefer right now, it grows aquatically, so it grows in a pond. So we're not growing in soil like soybeans that we would replace.
There's no negative impact. Yes, another question over here.
Thank you for impressive.
Hold it up.
Thank you, Deborah Pro-Wise. Thank you for impressive presentation and for producing the product. The question I have is, what's the product's useful life like before it expires, and can it be sold globally?
What's the shelf life?
That's right.
There's a very good shelf life.
It's freeze-dried, so just like currently industrial farming operations, they'll dry their Roundup, whatever they harvested wheat.
So it's like years.
Yeah. Currently farmers expect it to last more than a year because they need it to last through the winter. This is freeze-dried, so it's not like we've been doing this for a decade. We don't know exactly, but it's freeze-dried, so it's got to be minimum 5 years, we figure.
time for one more question. Anybody have a burning question? Anyone? No? Okay, so that kind of wraps it up. Thank you to our panel. A round of applause, please.
Thank you, Jeanne.
You're welcome. And if you want to visit the Lempro booth to see that awesome video, I've watched it several times. They're at number 114, just over here. And I am offering an on-the-spot 2-minute laser coaching. There's been a couple of people that have availed themselves of it in this room. You can go to booth 3, just at the very front, right near the Tesla, and I will give you a free 2-minute laser coaching session on the spot. Okay, also you can hire me to speak at business events. All right, well thank you everybody. You have a beautiful day. Thanks for turning up, and I hope I see you walking around. Take care.
And if you have a TV pitch, I'm right in front of the Tesla.
So what's your number?
I don't know, but I'm right in front of the Tesla and I'm sitting on my table. I am the display.